Hey gang, welcome back to Joe Daddy's Workshop. Yes, I'm outside today. You can probably hear my neighbor running the pressure washer and weed eater. You'll hear planes flying over, but it is a beautiful fall day here in Georgia. Now, what I have today is a Pit Boss Pro Series 600 PS1. I've been looking at these things for a while. I've been a fan of, grilled food. I like my steak, I like chicken, I like pork, I like all that stuff. But I'm never very good at it. And I've had grills before. I've had gas-powered grills. They're okay. I've long gotten rid of the one I had. I have a friend who does smoked meat on a Big Green Egg, and I'm not really too excited about those. So I saw these at Lowe's. This is a 600, I think it's 600 square inches is why they say 600 PS1 on it. But this is a smaller smoker and grill. It says it right here. It can be grill and smoker together, wood pellet fired. So I'm going to unbox this thing and we're going to take a look at it, put it together. I also got a PB 600 PS1 Pit Boss cover for it, and I also got some hardwood pellets, mesquite flavor, over here on the side. Obviously I'm not going to open that up just yet, but I want to unbox this, open it up, and show you what's inside. We've got a instruction book here, assembly and operation, and I'm assuming there's probably some sort of recipe book in here, but we're not going to get into that yet. Also point out, this comes with a probe that you can hook to the system so that you can monitor. Don't worry, I could never put this back together the way it came out of the box. Oh yes, oh yes. I'm assuming there should be, well, that's a display. I won't be using that. Okay, there we go. There's a box of parts inside. And then this is the grill pieces, so I'm sure this comes out, but I'm not going to get that far just yet. I just want to get it assembled. Now real quick, I'm just going to open up the book we have and see what all is in here. So, wood pellet grill and smoker. Looks like assembly instructions. Good, good, good. So you can see here you've got some inserts inside, for your grilling part. There's a lid. There's an internal piece here that's going to separate where you're grilling and the burning area. 4 legs, bucket, a little workbench up here in front. This is probably part of the base, set of wheels, some brackets. So I'll just go through the instructions and put this thing together. Now, I've already noticed that they've labeled the legs. This will help. Already it says left front LF. It has RB, which is, I'm sure, right back. And LB and RF. So that's going to be easy to identify those. Open up this parts box and see what's in it. Standard plastic display, all your parts on it. Some nice heavy duty wheels. That's nice. Looks like the handle for opening the lid. A bracket. Another wheel. Some sort of crank with a threaded knob on the end of it. A pair of brackets in this package. And what appears to be like a work table. That's pretty well made. When you look at that, here it has these cutouts for the wording Pro Series, but on the back side, got a piece of steel to make that stand out. Folding front shelf. Okay. Okay, now it says in the instructions, first thing it says is to read all the instructions. Well, we know how that goes. Most of us aren't going to do that. But it tells you right off the top here to place a piece of cardboard on the floor to prevent scratching, and then lay the main barrel on its side on the cardboard, hopper and upward. I'm just going to try to use what is here. I don't know if I should take some of this stuff out just to help lighten the load a little. You know, probably not a bad idea. These are pretty heavy. And it looks like there's some more stuff. Oh, okay. So this needs to come out. More stuff down inside here. Appears to have some oil residue on it. And, you know, I'm not surprised because a lot of times to prevent rust, they'll put oil on pieces of metal to keep them clean. So that's a pretty heavy piece. Let me get that out. Piece of cardboard. Again, with some oil on it. That's better. This piece, I'm sure there's a magic way to do this. Because obviously they had to get it in there, right? Aha! Had to hold your mouth right. Okay. Nothing else inside. Going to use this handle on the end here. Woo. And the hopper popped open. Okay, so let's look at these here and have right front. Right front. That's going to go down there. Left front. It's going to go here. Yeah. Okay. Pretty simple. And these legs already have nutserts or rib nuts built into them, so that's cool. Left back and right back. I'll be right back. I really don't know that you could mess this up. There's a whole bunch of screws right here in this first space, and I'm pretty confident that those are all going to go into the legs. Now inside the box there is, hope you can see that, there's a screw, flat washer, and a lock washer. So it'd be safe to say you put the lock washer on, put the flat washer on, thread that into the legs, I'll verify that. Now it also tells you need a level. So I'll probably have to go grab a level here in a minute. But I'm going to get started on putting these in place. It also tells you don't tighten up all the screws until you have them all in place. So there's room for adjustment on this. Lean this back a little bit. So that's the first leg. Now the second one here, the right rear or right back, goes back here. So that's a little more of a reach to get into, but that's okay. Maybe one of those where it would help to have two people. I don't have two people. All right, let's see if I can do it. It is possible. Woo. Okay. That's definitely a hard reach. Hard reach on that one. Okay. Okay. Left back. This could be even more challenging. I got it. I'd really recommend having two people do this. Okay. Yep. Yep. So that's what it says. Put the leg or the tray in the bottom there, and then it shows you putting the wheels on. And it looks like the axle goes to the outside of the wheel through the rear leg or the right side legs, and then there's some clips and washers that hold it together. So I'm going to put the tray on. I can see where the difficulty here is. It's easy to access these two, but these other two they're in the bottom. So it might be a little more of a challenge to get those other two bolts in place. I'm not tightening anything, I'm just making sure they're in right way. This one feels crooked. I'm going to lay it on its side, or on its back, I should say. Alright, that much is done. Now if I can get the wheels on. With all those installed, with all the legs installed, there are at this point, 6 extra screws. I can't say where they go, but there's 6, and there's 1 extra flat washer. So make sure you don't lose those. You might need them. Now, the kit has these 2 big pins. Looks like 2 washers, 2 retainers. There's also 2 more bolts here and 2 nuts and some sort of sleeve. So I'm going to safely assume these pins are for the wheels along with the washers and the retaining pins. Now it should be simple enough. You go through the wheel. Let me show you that. You should just go right through the wheel, slip this on to the leg, put the washer on, and then use the clip, snap it down in place, and it'll keep the wheel from falling off. There's that one. Washer and clip. Good. It says to stand it up, basically, and tighten everything. I'm not sure where it tells you to use the level. I don't see. I'll tell you, this is not a light piece of equipment. I believe it. Let me roll this back. Okay, now that it's in the upright position, I did put a level on here. Now, this can only be as level as the ground it's sitting on, right? So I can only assume, but I put this level at the top, at the bottom, and even here on the side, and it all seems to be within level, or what I would consider level. So it tells you once you do that to tighten up all the screws. So I'm going to do that. Make sure those are tight. And also make sure you get the ones at the bottom. All right. The next thing it tells you to do is there's a bracket that goes up here. What that bracket is for is to keep the lid from flopping over. You know, it does have stops built into the hinges, but it also has this nice bracket. It has a tang right here. And you know, this is kind of cool. This whole thing is made to look like hammered metal, and they did a really good job on this, I must say. Inside and out, looks great. There's a screw already in place up here. I'm going to take that out. And it also has the screw, lock washer, and flat washer. Install that, and that'll keep the lid again from getting too far back. Now the next thing it tells you is to install the handle. You know, I really like this. They actually have the hardware in the handle. You know, a lot of times you're digging around looking for stuff, but it's there. I will point out that this part of it is loose, you know, so you make sure that's put back in place when you put this on. No lock washers on those. And I will say this, all this stuff is heavy, which is great. All right, so you know, we've completed all these steps over here, except for it's showing a wire hanging off. That's that probe. I have not messed with that yet. We'll get to that. Handle installed. Talks about these brackets here, and those hold the shelf unit. And there are 3 holes down below right here on either side, and that would take up the other 6 screws that we have, except there's no extra washers. You know, apparently you don't use washers on these. Also, when you get to the shelf unit, mounting the front shelf here, that's where those other pieces come into play for the assembly. So let me get these pieces on. And you know, it doesn't say right or left, but I'm going to assume that the way this is curved like this, if you put it on, you know, this side over here, the curve would be a down. It would be at a weird angle. So I'm going to put them on like that. So get these started. Now I will snug up these. I'm not going to make them tight yet, just in case I need to move them around to get the shelf on. I don't know. Let me take a look at the shelf. Okay, so the shelf has this kind of funky shape to it, and then these catches. So I'm going to assume, you know how that goes, that the catch, or the bottom piece, goes like that, and then you could lift this up to rotate it down. That would make sense because it's not captured. So I think I can tighten those up. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this doesn't need lock washers like the other, you know, the other ones. This is the other hardware, so it looks like I will need a wrench. And if you'll notice, these have a square shoulder on them, which makes sense because it has that square hole in the side there. Now these are little like stainless sleeves. I guess they're kind of like a roller to keep things from wearing out. That's my guess. And that completes the hardware packet. So, yeah, there's a square shoulder, sleeve, nut. Let me see if I can't get this on. I'll have to verify the size of the nut, but I just want to get them in place for the moment. Shoulder bolt, sleeve, and I'll be right back. As it turns out, it's a number 11. So if anybody had number 11 in the lottery, come claim your prize. That works. It locks in nice. Okay. Talks about the flame broiler slider, main plate, adjust bar handle, and adjusting bar. So it looks like all these interact. You've got this, that's going to be wrapped up in that cardboard, that stuff that had oil on it. Actually, there should be 2 pieces in there. It looks like one goes inside, another one goes on top, and then the bar goes on the outside. Let's see how this works. So there are 2 pieces in this wrap. So we've got oil on it. Let me get this open. So that's the slider piece. Lots of oil on it. I'll just tell you this, probably can't recycle this plastic because of that. This piece, now I'll have to look at it. If it shows, it's got some slots cut in it right here on either side. Let me see if I have a good description of where the slots go. Okay, those go to the left. So when you put it in, it catches on the edge there. And look, I got oil all over my hands. Now I'm going to assume, because it's sitting in there now at an angle, that is intentional. Because there's no other way that can go in. Alright, so this main piece is inside, and then the slider goes on top of that. It has these two posts right here. They line up on these slots. So just put that on top, and that allows it to move left and right. Next thing you need to do is install the handle, because you don't want to reach in there and grab a hold of that. So you put the handle through this rubber grommet, and it's got this catch device to lock it in. Pretty simple. And now these big heavy inserts. Now these, I don't know if they're powder coated, I don't know what's on them exactly, but these are some heavy pieces. You know, in a standard grill you have a grate and it typically rusts pretty fast. You know, hopefully these last a lot longer. Very heavy pieces. And then on top you have the small grate, and this has posts on the end of it. Those are stops, so when you put this in, it has a catch, so you can have it slightly forward, all the way back, and I think that's it. Yeah. So there's two stops. I do note there are other grooves cut in these plates on the side, but there's really no way that you can bring it out unless you wanted to. Maybe this is an option. Let's see if I can turn this around. Okay, so you could put it in either direction. You could have it that way or that way. So that's kind of nice. You almost can't make a mistake with that. That's cool. So in this kit comes a catch cup or catch pail, even has Pit Boss on it, and has these replaceable liners. It says replace after 15 days. So I'm sure you could buy new ones of these. You know, it's got Pit Boss stamped in the bottom there. You can't see it because of the sticker. So I'm sure they have their own little inventory of those. Maybe you could use something else like some foil, you know, if you had your own foil. So let's just show you where that goes. On the side here, there's a hook, and that's where your catch bucket goes. Now the liner, the only reason I did it that way is because with the liner in, it's a little bit harder to get the handle out from underneath. It's kind of hidden by the bucket. So let me try doing it this way. Yeah, it kind of deforms it a bit, but it also helps lock it in there. So there you go. Another thing, in the kit comes this temperature probe. This is pretty well made by the looks of it. It's designed, it looks like there's two locations here that you can plug into. So you snap that in. Up here is one hole, and I'm going to assume, you know how it is when you assume, but I'm going to assume that you could feed two of those through that same hole. It only makes sense. And then you could put this anywhere. There's plenty of length, so you can have that anywhere within the grill itself. Just pull that up. Now, as I said, this is electric. You know, it has electric ignition. It has different heat settings here, and I know I was looking at the book. So going through this, I've already installed these components, catch bucket, and then down here connected to a standard outlet, 110, 120 volts, and the control uses a fast blow fuse to protect the board from the igniter. Okay, cool. This will work with GFCI outlets with a recommended size of 15 amps. During the startup phase, the igniter draws 200 to 700 watts of electricity, which can be too much power for a GFCI to handle. Each time it trips, it increases sensitivity. If the GFCI keeps tripping, replace the outlet or change to a non-GFCI outlet. Tells you can use it on the road. 12 volt 100 watt inverter plugged into an automobile outlet to use the auto igniter. Minimum of 1000 watts inverter. Okay. Now over here it tells you about where to set it up. Different parameters with, you know, cold weather cooking, hot weather cooking, high temperature, mid temperature, low temperature. Gives you the parameters there. On the control unit, it tells you to plug it in, press the power button on the unit. That would be over here on the left. The button will glow blue if connected to a power source. Press the button again to turn the unit off. The temperature control dial allows you to set your desired cooking temperature. So I showed you that earlier. It talks about something like a preset, or another way to, like the P set button, which is over here. So up there you look on the control, it says P set, and that's this right here. I believe what that is, the P set button, you select one of the 8 fine tunings when the temperature control dial is set to the smoke setting. Press the button to change the P setting to accommodate your cooking style. So there's some more information on here, obviously, that needs to be gone over. LCD screens use the information center for your unit. Display desired cook temperature, actual cook temperature, and meat probe temperatures if connected. If only one meat probe is connected, it will only read one, and one will be displayed. Press and hold the prime button to activate an extra feed of pellets to the fire pot. This can be used to add more fuel to the fire, opening the barrel lid, resulting in a quick heat recovery time. It can also be used while smoking to increase the intensity of clean smoke flavor requested from competition cookers. The smoke setting on the temperature control dial is set to the startup mode for the unit. The grill operates at the lowest temperature without the fire going out, and then that's your plug-in port for your meat probe. So let me plug it in. We'll have a look at it quick. Okay, so I plugged it into an outlet, and I'll just tell you this. I was not sure if there was something wrong or not, because I tried to hit the start button and nothing. Now it does light up, but it didn't do anything. I mean, you can barely see it. Maybe you can see it, but it is blue. What has to happen is you have to turn the knob, and then it turns on. So it talks about the probe is not, that one's not connected. Let me see here. Probe 2, 87 degrees. That's the one that's inside. Probe 1 is not connected. I guess that's actual temperature is 85. Now it goes through a different procedure to start things up and all that sort of stuff. I am not going to fire up this grill today. All I want to do is get everything assembled, make sure it works, and make sure that it turns on and does these different things. Now there you go. You can see it's changing the settings there. Okay, so that's a smoke setting, and that's where I think you can play with that P setting. Now up inside there in this hopper, there is an auger, and they talk about running a cycle to make sure that it operates. Oh, I can actually smell now that. So it is trying to. I can smell that it's trying to light. I don't know. You probably can't see it, but there's smoke, a little bit of smoke coming out of here. So it is trying to ignite, but there's nothing there to ignite. So I'm going to turn this off. Turn this to the off position. And it tells you in the instructions it'll go through a cooling cycle. like it wants to make sure. Yeah, there you can see some of the smoke coming out of it, burning off some of that oil that's inside. Let me just look under the lid quick. Yeah, you can hear the air blowing. That's a good sign. So things are working, and I'll soon be ready to cycle this thing and start cooking. So like I said, I am going to do a full test run on this later, but I wanted to just show you how everything hooked up. The other thing I want to show you is their little cover that they have. Now this, of course, these sell separate. These are not something you get with the grill. So I ordered this at the same time, and this is supposed to fit this grill specifically. We all know whenever you buy a grill cover, many times it's just a universal fit, but I figured, you know what, I want to have the right cover for this grill. So look at that. It's even got Pit Boss Pro Series on the front. Put the little shelf down and see how all this works. That's what I wanted. I wanted something that was going to fit, and this is some heavy material too. It looks like it has some sort of a zipper on the side here, and it does. And it's got like a weatherproof flap on the zipper. Also has a pull cinch on the bottom, so you can draw it up so the wind can't blow it off. Show you that. Again, pull cinch, zipper with the rubber flap on the outside. So well thought out. Well thought out. Now, let's see if I can't cook something. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. I hope I covered some areas that may have helped you if you were trying to put one of these together. I would recommend you have two people. You know, I do a lot of things by myself, this being one of them apparently, and you know, I was able to do it, but it wasn't that easy. So just consider having two people to do this. I'm looking forward to smoking some meat on here or doing some regular grilling, because it'll do both. Looking forward to that. I will cycle this because it has oil on those parts inside, and obviously you want to burn that off before you start cooking any meat. And that'll be it. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'm looking forward to some, I don't know, ribs, Boston butt, hamburgers, whatever. I'm looking forward to it. But that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya. I am so looking forward to this.